Here's your real-time cars routine. We're gonna do the entire morning routine. Now, this is gonna be a timeless classic video. I want you to always reference and come back to this. But if in particular you're taking pillar points, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna basically prep the exercise with you. We're gonna get into just one repetition in each direction together, simply for the sake of time. Otherwise, we'd be here for 20, 25 minutes to do the whole thing. So I'm gonna do one rep in each direction with you, but in order for you to get a proper amount of points, if you're doing pillar points, I need you to do 3 repetitions in each direction for every single joint that we do. Make sense? All right. Let's start off with the cervical spine. This is gonna be your neck cars. So you're gonna open your feet to about a shoulder width distance, make a gentle fist with your hands. Take a breath in, exhale out, and irradiate. I want you to spread tension all throughout your body, maintain tension, and then bring your chin down to your chest. Moving at 1 mile per hour, I want you to sweep the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Gently allow the right ear to pour behind the shoulder and feel your head rolling back. Extend your neck over to the left, and then bring your chin down towards your chest. Now I'm gonna reverse. So going the other way, we're taking left ear, left shoulder. Head rolls back slow. Remember, we want that 1 mile per hour pace. Right ear reaches to right shoulder and chin down to the chest. Go ahead and relax. So remember, you're doing 3 reps, but I'm showing you just 1. So if you need to push pause, get the rest of your reps in, go ahead and do that now. Spinal cars goes next. This is all about the cervical spine. So a wider stance is gonna be helpful. You're gonna cross at your arms. And before we begin, what I want you to imagine is that from your hips down to your feet, you're buried in cement. So the goal is we want a lot of activity and movement up here in the spine, but do not take your hips with you. Keep them still, keep them static and strong. So from here, breath in, exhale out, irradiate, and then I want you to begin by pulling the shoulders down towards the ground. Important detail. Now, I want you to watch this. I'm gonna show you from the side. This is a really common mistake that we see. When we flex the spine to begin, I often see people's hips spilling out from underneath them and their butt pushes backwards. This is wrong. Don't push your hips back. Your goal is to keep your hips underneath you, pull down, and then from this position, you're gonna twist your shoulders to the right. Side bend, pulling your right shoulder down. Start your back bend. Beautiful. Now from that back bend, twist your shoulders left. Side bend, pulling your left shoulder down towards your left foot, and then come back into flexion. Here's when we reverse. Twist left, side bend left. Start your slow back bend, twist your shoulders right, side bend right, and then back to flexion. You're gonna continue on your own doing 2 more repetitions in each direction. Make sure your intent is to make each repetition a little bit bigger than the last. Scapular cars, here's the shoulder blades. Really important because, well, quite honestly, this is our postural muscles. A lot of us sit down for a living, we're in front of our computers and so forth. So this is gonna help us to kind of bring that great posture back, and you can get out of your neck. Before we begin, I want you to know that when you do your shoulder rotations here for your scapular cars, the common mistake is for the elbows to bend or for the hands to start to go for a ride in front of the body, behind the body. So when you do this, it's totally fine if your hands travel up and down, but don't allow your hands to travel forward or backwards. That's gonna make a big difference. Ready? Breath in. Exhale out and irradiate. Spread tension everywhere. Squeeze your butt. Grip your pecs, arms are long, and then take the shoulders and reach them forward, up, squeeze them back, pack them down. Now here's when we reverse. We go back and down, up, forward, down, and back, right? So as you continue, you're gonna do 2 more in each direction, keeping the intent to make each rep a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Full shoulder cars comes next. I've got one hand that's a fist, the other hand that's an open blade, okay? This is gonna be the working shoulder. When we do this, I want you to be careful that you don't allow your rib cage to pop up and your back to arch, right? Part of creating tension is keeping the rib cage down and staying in the same position that we started with all throughout our range of motion. Breath in, exhale, irradiate, spreading tension everywhere. And then we're gonna sweep, this is my right arm, sweep this forward with my palm up. Now, as I get here, I'm gonna keep reaching up. Keep reaching up. This is what we call the roadblock. I want you to pull your hand as far back as you can. Don't allow your back to arch. Remember, I touched on that. Keep your ribs down, pull your hand back. From the shoulder, you're gonna begin to rotate. This is called internal rotation. So I'm not just turning my wrist, I'm actually rotating the shoulder as much as I can. I continue to rotate. I continue to rotate inward until the back of my hand meets my hip. That's half a rep. We have to return it and go back. So before you start rotating, just reach your thumb backwards as far as you can. When you have no more space, that's when you begin to rotate open and then elevate through that rotation. Keep externally rotating, palm faces up as you get down, and that's one repetition. You've got 2 more on this side, and then you're gonna do 2 more on the other side. Push pause if that's what you need to do. Elbows, followed by the wrists. Now the elbows are massively important because, well, they're meant to be solid and stable for the rest of the body. So when we do these, you're gonna imagine that you're moving through really dense, really thick air. And as you're moving through thick air, it's really about creating tension through the arms and through the elbow joint itself. So as we're here, okay, back into that blade, breath in, exhale out, irradiate, create tension, and then pull the palms up. Again, you're moving through thick air, lots of tension, lots of tension. Take the hands as close to the shoulder as you can. Internally rotate at the elbow and press this all the way down. Repeat. Back up. Internally rotate, press that really thick air down. All right, that was 2 reps, little gift to you. So now we reverse. So I'm gonna go back up, keeping the elbow tight. Back of the hand lifts up, externally rotate, press the back of the hands down, still creating tension, still moving through that thick air. Rotate, go up, rotate, back down. And that's the elbow cars, okay? As we do the elbow cars, it's important to make sure the elbow pit also stays facing forward. Be careful that when you're rotating, you're not allowing the shoulder to go for the ride. It's about keeping the upper arm in the same position and just turning forearm to the wrist. All right, speaking of wrist, let's actually do the wrist, because if we lack wrist mobility, this is your push-up, right? This is basically pressing yourself away from some sort of resistance. A lot of us have discomfort and pain when it comes to pushing or even applying any sort of weight or resistance into the wrists. When we do these, we're gonna make a fist, elbows are locked, forearm is facing up. Imagine you have something really valuable, I don't know, your cell phone or a diamond ring, something like that on the inside of the forearm. When we get here, we're gonna rotate the wrist really big, nice and slow. We want to avoid the forearm turning over. Keep the inside always facing up, and you know you're doing this correctly. Take a breath in. Exhale out. Create tension everywhere. Look at your wrists. I'm gonna look at mine, and then you're gonna pull the pinkies in towards each other. Reach them down. Go out and then up. I'm gonna do one more in this direction. We'll go in, down, out, up. Let's reverse. The most common time for the forearm to turn over is when we're going in to out. So make sure you're being honest here. Last one. Whew. I did 2 of each. You're gonna do 3 of each direction. We got just a few left from here. So we're gonna take care of your hips. Let's come down onto the mat into a hands and knees position. Okay, so your hips are on ball and socket. What does that mean? It basically means that you're meant to have a lot of range of motion and movement ability in your hips. The first thing is we come into this position called quadruped. Okay, shoulders right over the wrists, hips right over the knees, toes are tucked under. Before we create tension, before we irradiate, I want you to make sure that you're actually keeping your spine neutral. I'm talking about the biggest mistake that I see. So we're gonna actually end up rotating and moving the leg around. What I don't want you to do is you're not gonna start bending your elbows, you're not gonna start twisting your back to make this motion as big as you can. Well, why not? The reason why is because you're cheating, we're compensating. The goal is to keep the rest of the body in the exact same position. So with me, take your breath in. Exhale, irradiate, push the ground downward, create tension, and then we're taking the right knee and we're pulling the right knee as close to the right elbow as we can. You're gonna float the right knee out to your side, and then you're gonna do internal rotation, which means you're gonna drop the kneecap and lift the bottom of the foot up towards the sky. I pull the right foot back, and then I tuck the right knee in towards the left. That's a half a rep. So as we reverse, we push the foot backwards, reach the kneecap straight out to your side, make sure you're extending your arms, take the knee all the way out wide, pull it in towards the elbow, and gently place it down. That's 1 repetition. You're doing 3 on the right side, back and forth, back and forth. You have the intent to make each rep a little bit bigger than the last, and then you're gonna switch, doing 3 on the other side. All right, we're gonna go knees followed by the ankles, just 2 left. So when we do the knees, the goal here is for us to actually move the tibia. The tibia is your shin bone. And so I'm not gonna move my thigh, not this, just this. So I'm gonna take my right arm and hook my right arm underneath my right knee. Extend my left, my right hand grabs my left bicep, and then my left hand is not in front, but on top. Make sense? So once you get here, right, we got the leg in a little bit of like a chokehold or an arm bar. So you're gonna lean back, and the goal, the purpose of this is to keep the thigh itself, keep it from moving. We want it to be nice and still. So you're gonna flex your foot, and then from the shin bone, little movements here, you're gonna turn the shin bone out and in and out and in. Before we do that, let's take a breath in. Let's exhale, irradiate by creating tension. Now look at your shin. I'm looking at mine. I want you to try and rotate your shin out to the right. Did you see that? Mine was really small. Let me do it again. Look how small this is. Just turning it out. I'm gonna elevate the foot as high as I can, rotate the shin bone inward. It's small, if I'm being honest. It's not this, I'm not moving the ankle, just the shin. I lower down, rotate back out, up, in, down. Once I've done 3, I reverse. Here's what reverse looks like. I rotate in at the bottom, I go up, out, down, in, up, out, down, and in. 3 repetitions on this side, and then do the same thing on your second side for 3 repetitions in each direction. Finally, we get to the ankles. Now the ankles, like the hips, like your wrists and like your shoulders, they're ball and socket. We're made to have this really full range of motion. So once you hook under again, same sort of a grip, grab the bicep. Instead of hand on top of the knee, you're gonna grab just in front of the knee. Now we're here because we wanna make sure that, well, this is not the time to move the shin bone anymore. So if your shin moves, rotates, twists, bounces, anything like that, you're gonna feel it with this opposite hand. That's why this is here. It gives us feedback. So we're gonna lean back, breath in, irradiate, and then staring at your ankle, you're gonna go clockwise in a big circle. I'm not moving my shin, I'm not moving my thigh, I'm only moving my ankle. Once I'm back to 12 o'clock, I'm gonna reverse and go the other direction. I'm gonna do 3 repetitions in each direction, trying to make the next a little bigger and a little bit bigger than the last. When I finish 3, I do the same on the other side, and guess what? You've completed a full CARS routine. Now, as you stick with this, the whole routine's gonna go by a little faster, it's gonna feel a little bit more fluid, but keep in mind, create tension, move slowly, keep the rest of the body still while you move one body part, and this is gonna help you to increase flexibility, feel better, and really move your best.